Hey Jemima, so we'll have a little look at the Chanson Triste that we were looking at in our actual physical lessons. So this was sounding pretty good, and we'd almost got through to the very end of it, I think. So we'll have a little look at some of the shifting patterns in this. Now, generally, the first half of the piece of music, I like everything that's written there. I think it works really, really well. There's a couple of bits I'd be inclined to change in the second half of the piece of music, shift-wise. So, in the first half, I think keep it pretty much as it is. Now, towards the end of the first half, when we get to bar 25, you've got that bit. Now that bit happens 3 times in a row. The first 2 times, the music wants you to play it with an open A, and then the third time at bar 29, it wants you to use your 4th finger. Now, I was kind of thinking it would sound nicer to use your 4th finger for all 3. But after playing around it a couple of times, I quite like actually having the open A. The open A the first 2 times, then going to the 4th finger the 3rd time. So I'd be inclined actually to keep that as it is written. However, on the 3rd time, the 4th finger, you really want to be trying for just a little touch of vibrato on that 4th finger. You also really want to be using some vibrato on all of the minims in this piece, wherever you've got the minims, those longer notes. Try and use a bit of vibrato. So for that, remember, you really need to be keeping that wrist away from the neck of the violin. You're a devil for doing this, aren't you? You like to grasp that neck, so you're going to have to keep that wrist away from the violin. You really want to make sure that you're bang up on that fingertip, so you need to make sure that those nails are really, really trim. And then it's just that rocking backwards and forwards motion on the fingertip. So the whole sort of the palm of your hand is going to be moving towards you and away. Now again, I think this just really sort of clicked so you're getting the hang of it. If you're feeling it does feel a little bit strange and it's not quite right, which you'll be able to feel if it feels as though the whole wrist is kind of coming this way and you're rocking sideways, which you'll know if you're doing that because your whole arm will move, or you'll feel like the violin is kind of trying to move because you're sort of pushing it sideways a little bit. So it's really that nice, relaxed, rocking backwards and forwards on the fingertip. And yeah, you can get back into the motion of doing that by dusting up and down the neck, going kind of right up into 5th position, not pushing the strings down but just dusting, and then move to pushing the strings down and making a delightful siren sound. And then stopping at any point and trying to rock backwards and forwards on the finger. You'll find that certain fingers feel easier to get the vibrato on. 3rd finger I think is quite nice. I find 1st finger is the most difficult. You've got the less room for rocking on the 1st, but the 2nd and 3rd are easier. 4th, unfortunately, trickier, given that it's much weaker, so you might have to do some 4th finger exercises to really work up the strength in that 4th finger to be able to vibrato at bar 29. So just practicing some scales with the 4th finger is really good for that. Okay, but yeah, your grade 5 scales, you're going to have plenty where you're using your 4th finger anyway, so that's good. Right, so First half, then, generally, we like the finger patterns that are written in the book. Second half, I am not so keen from the very beginning of the second half. The bit where we're going to second position, I don't like that. I think it's really awkward. I think, so we're in third position at the very beginning of the second half. Once you get to bar 37, the last bar of the first line of the second half, when you get to the G, that top G, at that point I think you want to be coming down to first position on that G. Yeah, so, and then stay in first position all the way through this bit. And then shift on that D there. So bar 44, shift back up to third position on that D before going up to that tune up the octave. Okay, so yeah, first position from the last bar of the first line, from the G, I think shift on that G, then stay in first position until bar 44 where you're going to shift. Okay, from there, stay in third position for 2 bars, and then you're going up to 5th position, and then you're coming back down to third position, bar 48. Stay in third position for the end until the end of that line, and then you're coming back down to first position. So all of that bit as it's written. Then staying in first position. It wants you to stay in first position until bar 64, but I think stay until the very end. Now, I'm saying that, stay till the very end in first position. Try it both ways, as it's written, and staying in first position until the end, and then record yourself playing it both ways, see which one you prefer the tone of. Don't worry if one of them is sounding more fluid than the other one, it might just be that you need to practice it more the other way around. But just focus on the tone and to how, particularly the open strings are ringing out and how they sound compared to playing it up in third position. So, and then go with whichever one you think sounds nicer on your instrument. Now, I quite like at bar 64, so if I'm to stay in first position on my instrument, there, 2, 3, 4, then play the Ds as open. I quite like that because you've got no option but to play the down in first position, and if you're already up in third position playing the there's quite a difference in the tone between that D being played up in third position with your second finger, dum 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 ba da dum, to then coming down and having to play them in first position and having those open strings really ringing out. So the reason that I've chosen to play it in first position is because on my instrument, those 2 bars played next to each other in the same position, they kind of sound a little bit more cohesive. But you might prefer the more mellow tone on your instrument. I think your G is a bit mellower than mine anyway, so it might be that you want to stay in third. Anyway, I'm rambling around that, but have a little play around that end bit in third position and first position and see what you prefer. Okay, once you get to bar 68, 69, bar 70, we've got the harmonic notes. So for those harmonics, you're going to be playing them both with your 4th finger all the way up here. So really stretch with that fourth finger. Now, for those harmonics, we've not done much work, if any, on harmonics. I don't think it's something we've come across in the grade pieces that you've been looking at so far. Now, I imagine it is something that you've looked at in the past. How much you can remember about them, you will know, but I won't. So, in order to play your harmonic notes, you're not going to push down on the string, but you are just going to rest your finger on top of the string in the position that it's asking. Now, to get that first harmonic, you're going to be playing your fourth finger stretched. Oops. Your fourth finger stretched there, just past the body of the instrument. And if you're finding that in order to find it, you can just try moving up and down. Now you're going to find you've got lots of different harmonics on the instrument. It's this one that you're aiming for. You're just going to be touching the string with that fourth finger, not pushing down at all. In order to get a nice tone, you might find that using the flat of your finger instead of the tip gets you a nicer tone. But try both ways. That's me on the tip. That's my flat. You might find that it's a little bit easier to reach it or to find it by using the flat of your finger because you've got a larger surface area. But yeah, try both ways and see which is most comfortable and what gets you the best result. Now you also want to make sure that your bow is moving at a nice, quick, steady pace. You want to make sure that it's well rosined all the length along. And you want to make sure that it's kind of moving a little bit in mid-air before you come down the string, just to really make sure that pace is already there. Now, and coming down really lightly, and a real light touch with that bow. So, and then you can just practice that round and again. Well, that wasn't a very good one. Okay, now, if you do choose to play this last chunk all down in first position until you get to that point, you're going to have a really big leap. Oops. Before then coming up and finding those harmonics. But if you are doing it in first position, it does mean that during that big leap with your left hand, you have got plenty of time for this right hand to already be moving, ready to come down on the string. So that really gives you opportunity to get that nice and relaxed and moving, and really adjust that bow, get that bow ready to come down nice and steady there first of all. Good luck with those harmonics. If you want any more information or detail on those, then just let me know. I have got some nice, I say nice, they're actually quite nasty, harmonic studies. Some pieces that use lots of harmonics to help you practice those. If you feel like you could use those, then just let me know, okay? And if you have any trouble with them, then just let me know and I'll give you some other pointers and some detail on those. Good luck anyway. So the next video is me playing through this pretty much at the lower end of the performance speed, so about 96 beats per minute. It might be a couple of beats per minute slower than that. I didn't actually use my metronome. Now, yeah, try playing through at that pace. The shift patterns that I'm using when I'm playing it are the same as I waffled on at the beginning of this video. Try to get a bit of vibrato in there, and just, yeah, let me know if you have any trouble with the harmonics. Try to really make more of those dynamics than I have when I've played through it. I was sort of sight reading this piece, so I wasn't making as much of the dynamics as I should have been. So yeah, really focus on that and try to exaggerate those more than I have in that video. Anyway, good luck with that, and just give me a shout if you have any problems with this piece. We will start having a look at another one next time. So, I think from the A pieces, I think let's have a look at A2, the Allegro. We've got two Allegros, but the A2 Allegro. Let's have a little look at that one. So have a little listen to that between now and when I send over the next lesson. And feel free to get stuck into that and have a little look at it. What I'll do, I'll send over next time maybe the first half of it, or the first couple of phrases broken down, and sort of, yeah, we'll look at a couple of those phrases next time. Okay, so have a little listen to that one, and yeah, good luck.